Welcome to Tech with Kindi. Today we're going to be building the EK Quantum MPG Z690 Carbon EKX motherboard with the monoblock. I will show you how to put the monoblock on. And first, I have to know is on the box there is a QR code you can scan. Then you can look on your phone or tablet or computer to see where to put these different thermal pads. Very important, don't put the wrong ones the wrong place. For this one there's three different sizes. The big one, the 1mm one, is for the M.2 drive. The 1mm one is for the this part over here. I'll take the cameras closer when I start cutting them. And the finished one is on top here. And you have to cut them length and width. As you can see, I've cheated a little bit on the case. I've mounted the reservoir pump solution, and I've mounted 4 fans here and a 480mm radiator with 4 fans on the other side. You can't see them from there. And I have 3 fans up here. This is the, by the way, this is the Corsair 7000X case. One thing I don't have is the 280mm radiator I'm going to put up here. They didn't have it in white when I ordered it. And I also pre-cheated a little bit with the 120mm radiator we're going to put in the back. It's here. I'm going to put it over there. So we gonna put a radiator here, gonna put a 480 radiator, and we're gonna put a 280mm radiator at the top when they get it back in stock at EK. So for this next bit here, we have some tools. I have a pair of scissors, I have a screwdriver, I have the back plating that came with the motherboard, and we have the monoblock. But firstly, we need to put on the thermal pads. And I also pre-installed the CPU frame by Thermal Grizzly and their Bauer. I'll put a link in the description for their Bauer's instruction on how to put the CPU frame in. It's not that simple. You have to do it right, otherwise, yeah, it doesn't work. And the CPU frame for the 12th generation, it's simply by putting more pressure on the CPU so it's more even when you put on the block or cooler or whatever you're gonna put on top. I'm gonna put on the Hydronaut from Thermal Grizzly. That's the one I like. So yeah. So first you start with the. Once you've scanned the QR code, you get a instruction on how to do what. The instructions are telling me that the thickest, the 1mm one is going to go down there, the 1mm one down there, the 0.75mm on top. So pretty much you just hold this in length, and what I do is hold it down, then make a mark with my fingers. There we go. You make a small mark, you cut it, boom, throw away that part. And then it's still way too wide, so you need to figure out how wide you need to cut it. Just gonna go like this, cut that, and then before you take anything off, it fits. I would take the non-cut, the side you didn't cut, and put that up against the other because it's straight. Not sure, depending if you can cut straight, it's nice. But and make sure to remove the protective cover. Throw that away. Then to do what I said was the cut side like so. And you place it down here. Make sure that you cover everything. It's better to cut the thermal pads a little bit too long than too short, because you need to cover it. Doesn't matter if you cover too much, it won't harm anything. Then remove the blue plastic as well. Boom. I would recommend removing the blue plastic on the bottom one before putting the top one. It's going to be a little bit more tricky. And then you have the thin one. Same procedure, you put it in length, cut it a little bit too long, make a mark. Oh wait, I go like this. Because this one has a small, easier flap you can pull on, so I'm gonna keep that. And then boom, cut. And since this is very, you don't need to cut this in width, it's nice. Doesn't matter if you cover too much, it has no downside. I like to use the tweezers to remove this protective film cover plastic things. They are annoying. Then put this one on. Cover each end, there we go. Remove the protective cover. There we go. And you also need to put in your M.2 drive, because this monoblock at the bottom here will cover this one. So your one M.2 drive will be water cooled. And we have the WD Black 1 terabyte NVMe drive. I have 2 of those. I'm gonna put both in. The other one I'm gonna put under the shield somewhere. I'm gonna pop this one in, and then we can continue with the monoblock. There we go. Then that notch have to line up with the other notch, and you have this screwless, very nice. Pop it in, down, and then you flip this one around like so, locked in. Now you can take your big one. The width is very nice on this one. You just have to cut it in length. I would recommend you cutting it in the entire length, or let's just cut it to the M.2 drive here. Let's just see. It goes to there, small mark. I just mark it with my fingernails, it's easy to see. And oops. There we go. And we'll take the protective cover off. Yeah, you can do it without the tweezers, but the smaller pieces are a little bit annoying. Then you have to put this one in here. And the better application of this, the better cooled your M.2 drive will be. So let's see if we can get the blue cover off without any. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Off we go. And then we have all the thermal pads in place. Then we can scroll down our guide to see what they tell us to do next. So let's just follow the guide and let's see what we're going to do. The guide doesn't say you have to put in the M.2 drive, they just put in the 1mm thick one. It actually doesn't say on top of. That's a big fun. It does say you have to remove plastic from both sides of thermal pastes. And now you have to take this one. We have to change spots here to go forward with this one. Nice good view. And then you have to put, what does it say? 4 self-adhesive PVC washers. These are the small ones. The ones with tape on one side. They have to go here, 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 and here. So now I have to peel the plastic off. How do I? Oh, that's quite easy. And then one more. This is a little bit, yeah. My fingers are way too big for this. And in a second now you have to, after you put these on, you have to apply the thermal compound of the CPU. Yeah, this is a little bit, there we go. Make sure it's centered on the hole, otherwise you can't use the screws from the other side. Now on this side you have to remove this one and a big yellow thing here. It says, please remove before use. There we go, nice clean plate here. Yep, just gonna put the trash over here. Where is my film? Oh, here we go. Thermal paste. Just has to squeeze hard enough. I can actually put on one of these. You're just gonna put on a pea size. There we go. Put the plug back on. This one back in the bag. You have it for further use. There's like a small, you can, when you apply it, if you want to use that. I just put a pea size in the middle. And what does the, and now we have to place it. Okay. So we want to place it the right way the first time. Okay. A little bit closer here, and you have the cable you have to be careful with. And it's gonna go on like this. It should fit pretty snugly around here. There's not much, like you have that washer, you have these washers here you can aim for the holes with. There we go. And then I have these two. When I turn it around, I have to make sure you hold it. This, you hold it in place. Move it if you don't see the holes a little bit. They are perfectly lined up. Then we need the other bag. The rubber one goes on first. There we go. Second one goes on here. Make sure the holes, these holes fit with the screw holes on these that holds the CPU down. So that's it. And what do we need here? We need some washers as well. Need washers here, here, and here. The four we put washers on before, they need washers again. This time I'm just gonna put the washer on the screw. Oh my god. So tiny things here. Okay. Don't run away from me. Don't tighten, just make sure you screw it in. Then you can tighten them later. Once we get to the fun bit of, just need to find the holes. There we go. the screw. Not 2 Porsches, what? Just tighten. We will tighten later in a star pattern once we get to the. We want to tighten the 4 here, the CPU first, so we get a good nice spread on the thermal paste. Then we get to these. Change the bit. There. You can either just hand screw them in, so you get so you don't ruin the thread. Get them started, or you can do this and just reverse until it tops over. Then you can go. You hear that little. That one. Then you can go. Then you're in the thread. And you can also feel it, it falls like a tiny bit down, it's nothing, but then you're sure you're in the thread and you don't ruin anything. And you tighten a little bit here, a little bit here, star pattern again, you go. There we go. Just finger tight. You don't have to use excessive force. Remember these over here, we didn't tighten those. Just, they don't need to be that. Just finger tight. Just, there we go. And we can turn it back around and take a look. There we go. GPU block installed. The cable is, that's the ARGB for the lights. And now we can continue to put in the RAM. Let's just put this away a little bit here. We can install the RAM blocks, and we have our Gskill Triton Set 5 RGB, a 32 gigabyte set, so 2 times 16. There we go. And one in here. So again, you have the notch on the RAM module, and you have a notch here. You have to align, you have to open up one of the ends, or both ends, it depends on what kind of motherboard you have. Some motherboards only open at one end. All 4 opened, and then you can go, you can either go closest to the, then you can see, oh, that doesn't line up, then you have to flip it over. And now lines up, do a squeeze, the notches fall back in. And to make sure you use your dual channel, you have to skip one and then go straight to the last one. Oh no, not the last one. Skip one module. You only have 2 modules, you skip one, so you have dual channel action. Then locks, goes back. RAM modules in. Yeah, they're seated correctly. Nice and tight. Let's put in the last M.2 drive before we peel anything. There should be, I think there's up to 5 M.2 drives you have here on this one. It's quite a lot. It's 4 or 5, I can't remember. You have to check the manual. Which screw didn't I get? Can be a little bit tricky, as you can see. It's hard to know when the screws are up. So we have 2 M.2 drives here and 2 down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Quite nice. As you can see, the edge of the thermal pads. We have the heat sink here, transferring from fluid. So yeah. Also, you can see why it's important to cover everything. Thermal pads will transfer the heat into this heat sink. The heat sink, the coolant will remove the heat from the heat sink and then go to the radiator and then out of the system. So that's why it's quite important to get. And there's a little bit of washers and screws left over from the installation of the monoblock. You have 1 extra of each, I see. That's nice. So if you throw one away, you still have 1 left.